Bonjour classe, bienvenue dans la classe de français 1. Aujourd'hui, on commence avec leçon 11. On y va? Okay, let's start off with our verb être, which means to be, which hopefully looks familiar to you. Have we seen this one before? Je suis, I am. Tu es, you are. Il est, he is. Elle est, she is. Je suis, tu es, il est, elle est. Nous sommes, vous êtes, ils sont, elles sont, être, to be. There's our little song. When we use être, we're talking about what people look like, or who they are, or where they are. So, this is the conjugation of the verb that we're going to be using a lot this week because we will be continuing to learn how to describe people. We already know a few descriptions. Can you think of any? For example, how do you say someone is tall? Il est grand, or elle est grande. What about someone with blonde hair? Il est blond, elle est blonde. Or someone who is handsome? Il est beau, elle est belle. So we already do know a few adjectives. We're going to continue with those and just add to them. Let's take a look and see what some of our new adjectives are going to be. First of all, when we talk about Fido, here are some things we already know. J'ai un chien. Il s'appelle Fido. Il est... What can you say about Fido that you already know? Il est petit. Et il est blond. I don't know if they really call dogs blonde, but we'll do it for today. Il est aussi, here's a new one, mignon. Class mignon means cute. J'ai une copine. Elle s'appelle Angelica. Elle est jeune. She is young. Et blonde. Blonde hair. Elle est aussi, what else can you say about her? Here's a new one. Amusante. And amusante, much like the English word amusing, means fun or funny. Très bien. Here are some more new words. To describe people, we can say things like amusant, amusante. That means fun or funny. Méchant, méchante. That means mean. Bête. Bête means dumb or silly. Mignon, mignonne means cute. Sportif, sportive. Do you see an English word in there? Can you guess what it means? It means athletic. And sympathique does not mean sympathetic, as you might think. It's kind of a false cognate. It actually means just nice. A lot of times in French, they will shorten this just to the first part of the word. They would just say sympa, which means nice. Now, a few things to help you remember these. Of course, amusant, amusante looks like funny or fun. It looks like amusing in English, right? Méchant starts with an M and it means mean. Bête is kind of an interesting word because it literally means beast. Have you heard of Beauty and the Beast? It's a French fairy tale, and they say in French, La Belle et la Bête. And la bête is the beast. Because do you remember what we learned about this circumflex? It means there used to be an S in the word back in old French. So if you put an S in there, it does start to look more like beast. But it's not like beast when they say it. When they say tu es bête, they're saying you're dumb, like a big dumb animal. Mignon. Have you heard of a filet mignon? It's a little tiny, cute steak, usually wrapped in bacon. Very good. Obviously, sportif looks like sport, and it means athletic. And then remember, sympathique is just nice, not sympathetic. So those are a few new words. Another thing to keep in mind is when you describe people in French, you always have a masculine and a feminine form of the adjective. We did that with grand and grande, petit and petite, and now we're doing it with amusant, amusante. You add an E to make it feminine. Méchant, méchante. Add an E to make it feminine. Bête, you don't have to change because it already has an E in the main masculine form. And notice mignon, mignonne, double N-E, sportif, sportive. The feminine actually changes more than just the letter E at the end. It becomes a V-E. And then sympathique already ends with an E, so you don't have to change anything. We're also reviewing some nationalities. I think we learned a few of these already. For example, je suis américaine, or il est français, elle est française. So let's talk about some of these different places around the world and what their nationalities are. Quebec, Canadien. And if it's a girl, you add an extra N-E to make it feminine. Liverpool, Anglais. That's in England. And if you want to describe a feminine person from Liverpool, elle est anglaise. Madrid. This is in Spain. This is a new one for us. Espagnol. Guess what you do to make it feminine? Add an E. Acapulco in Mexico. Mexicain. And to make it feminine, add an E. Tokyo. Do you know where it is? It's in Japan. And the word for Japanese en français is japonais. Voila. Make it feminine, japonaise. Beijing is in China. The French word for China is, or for Chinese, I should say, chinois. To make it feminine, chinoise. Genève is in Switzerland, Geneva. Suisse means Swiss, and because it already ends with an E, you don't have to change anything to make it feminine. We know Paris, Français. Don't forget the cédille under the letter C. Français ou française. Et finalement, Rome, c'est en Italie, italienne. To make this one feminine, just like Canadien up top, you add an extra N-E, italienne. Très bien, voilà. Now we can put some of this into practice. This comes from your textbook on page 165, exercise 3, so you could refer to that if you need a little extra help, but we'll do a few of these together so you know what to do. Let's start off here with Tarzan. Can we say one thing he is and one thing he is not? I would say based on his looks and the fact that he can jump around all those trees, il est sportif. What's one thing he is not? He's not very petite. To say what someone is not, remember you use this construction. Il n'est pas petit. The ne pas goes around the verb être. Si on regarde Monsieur le Gorille, comment est-il? Il est grand. Oui, il est grand. Now look at him or think about his personality. What's thing he's not? One thing he's not. Here's Big Bird, also il. Il est jeune. He's very young, because he's on Sesame Street for little kids. What's one thing he is not? Then we have the Batman. Describe him in two different ways. When we get to Miss Piggy, we're going to change a couple of things. The first thing we're going to change, instead of saying il, which means he, we're going to say elle. And then, remember your adjectives that you use for Miss Piggy all have to be feminine. Elle est belle. Oui, elle est belle. Et elle est blonde. So we use the feminine form for both of those. Same thing for Wonder Woman. Comment est-elle? And how is she and how is she not? Charlie Brown, Snow White, Garfield, and Snoopy. Describe these characters. You can repeat some adjectives, but try to use as many different ones as you can and fill in the rest of this. This is a good place to pause the video. When you finish this section, though, come back because there's a little bit more we're going to talk about. Okay, are you back? Hopefully you have all of these filled in, and we can now move on to the last part of our video, which is here. It's in your textbook on page 168, La place des adjectifs. Something that's different about French is that they put their adjectives in a different spot in the sentence. For example, we would say, Bob is a nice friend. Look at him. A nice friend. But in French, the word nice comes after the noun it describes. So this sentence in French would look like this. And go ahead and write this down on your follow-along handout. Bob est un copain sympathique. So instead of saying a nice friend, they're actually saying a friend who is nice. The word nice is the adjective, and the adjective comes after the noun it describes. Let's do the same thing with Julie et Nathalie. Julie et Nathalie, I'm going to just say elles because it's two girls. Elles sont des amies amusantes. Couple of things going on here. First of all, I put the word amusante, the adjective, after the noun ami. But also notice that everything here is feminine plural because we're talking about two girls. Madame Marchand, she's a smart teacher. Elle est une prof intelligente. Intelligente. Again, the word intelligente, the adjective, comes after the noun, and it is feminine. Last one, François et Victor. So two boys this time. Ils sont des voisins. Voisin, if you remember, means neighbors. Gentil. Gentil with an S. Ooh, was gentil on our list? Gentil also, like sympa, means nice. So here it comes after the noun, neighbors that are nice, and both are masculine plural. Et voilà! Hope you learned some good new stuff today. We're going to continue this for the rest of the week. And more practice with adjectives describing ourselves and others. And I'll see you in class. Merci beaucoup. Au revoir.